You're listening to Stellar Success, Leveling Up for Medical Pros with Dr. Tudor Francu. Join us as we explore how medical professionals can achieve stellar success in all areas of life. It's time to level up.
Dr. Billy, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming over.
Oh, thanks for having me on your show, Tudor.
How is Michigan?
Well, it's very hot. We're pushing 90 degrees today, so it's pretty steamy, but
Yeah.
this is a great time of year, so.
Um, Tell me a little bit about this new enterprise you have. Old or new? I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, well, it's kind of both. It's been evolving, so uh
SmileBond.
yeah. So I'm an inventor, Tudor.
Okay.
I never thought I would be, but I never imagined it. But so the process is called dental injection bonding. And I got IP starting back in 2004. So I actually started playing around with the process around Y2K. And it worked so well. I beta tested 2 patients and it worked so well that I've been running with it ever since. It's been pretty incredible.
Cool. Tell us a little bit about what it's all about.
So dental injection bonding is the technical description for it, and we brand it as SmileBond. So that's I'm backwards here, but that's my logo, SmileBond. Um, so I'll 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 try to frame it by saying SmileBond is to cosmetic restorative dentistry what Invisalign is to orthodontics. So Invisalign came on the scene right about the same time, right around Y2K, and they essentially said to the dental industry and to patients, hey, you don't have to go through the crazy brackets and wires, and we have a new way of moving teeth. And from now on, we're going to do it this way. And they just turned into an incredibly fabulous company and so forth. And they offer a lot to the industry. And so with SmileBond, with my inventions and tools and the proprietary processes, we can say um, we can enable dentists to change the size, shape, and color of a patient's smiling teeth. So in other words, cosmetic smile enhancement. And usually we're talking about teeth 5 through 12,
Hmm.
upper first bicuspid, upper first bicuspid. But so you can change the size, shape, and color. They will look, feel, and function exactly like porcelain crowns and veneers, but it's just a different material. So we're
I
using
see.
the modern improved composite resin materials. Now, what's really cool for the patient is, and the reason why it's so popular with patients is it costs much less. So it's about half the cost of porcelain crowns and veneers. Maybe even best of all is it's usually painless. So usually we're adding structure and volume to the teeth. And so there's little or no drilling needed. And I do most of my cases without anesthetic. So very low cost, very pain-free. And another cool thing is it's one treatment visit. So I'm typically in, in the past, it's taken about 3 hours to do a case, but with our latest innovations and we actually have a new patent filed right now, and with the new tools, it's cutting it about in half. And auxiliaries can do more and more too. So it's really
Very
cool.
interesting.
Yeah, a patient will sit back with their challenged smile, and by lunchtime they're sitting up and sending selfies out, marketing
Interesting.
their new
So
smile
it's
for us.
it's like maybe can you compare it with like a whitening solution that are out
Oh,
there?
well, no, it's a totally different category than that. Um, so what probably the way most dentists are going to recognize it is freehand composite bonding, or doing applying composite bonding to the teeth using, like, say, matrix systems.
I see.
There's various types out there, and
Do you have to?
there's some good ones.
You said you don't have to drill, you don't have to abrase the teeth to apply that, right? It just
Correct.
goes on the natural patient
Enamel.
teeth. I see.
Yes.
And it's probably just one face of the tooth, right? The front face.
Well, actually, I came about this. I was on a faculty of an occlusion program based out on the West Coast, and we would um, we would do a lot of full mouth restorations, like TMJ cases and full mouth. And once you got everybody stabilized, usually you had to do all the teeth um, in porcelain, like full
Yeah,
mouth restoration roundhouse. Well, 9 out of 10 people couldn't afford that. So
right.
that's kind of where I came up with this. And so, yes, primarily we're doing the buckle, the cosmetic services, but just to answer your surfaces, but to answer your question, I will say that we're doing some occlusion with it too.
I see. This is totally different than what Clear Choice is doing, correct?
Yeah, because isn't Clear Choice an orthodontic
Yes.
program?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're insofar as you might see improved alignment or size,
Mhm.
shape, and symmetry of the teeth, we're what you would call a bondodontist.
I
So,
see.
so
Bondodontist.
yeah,
I
so
like that.
in other words, like if someone comes in with a challenge smile, um, just the standard of care is you'll take an impression, so either putty and a stone model or now virtual and a 3D printed model. So that's the baseline model. And then we improve it. So you go ahead and hey, how do we want this to look? And we call it ideal natural form. So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We just, what would these teeth look like if they were beautiful, natural, unrestored teeth? So that's what we call the corrected model.
That's interesting. So you can use AI like basically design a smile for that patient.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so
That's so cool.
there's tremendous potential for it. And I still love the old-fashioned way. I'll sit at my desk with my Belle de St. Clair waxer and wax and carve teeth. But yeah, there are some really cool AI programs and design programs for doing that. But the key is that what's so cool about SmileBond is when you have that, you have the patient's before and after model. I always invite them in for a reveal because you show them their original model and they'll say, "Oh, I hate this and I hate," they'll basically sell themselves on why they came to you in the first place. And then you say, "Okay, well here's my vision for you. Here's what I would like to achieve," and they can't believe it.
I
Um,
see.
yeah, it's almost like they're reading from a script, some of the things they say. And that's usually when the case is closed. So to get in my schedule, the patient will have the fee already, and the patient would pay half down to get in the schedule. And then before they're escorted back on treatment day, the staff will collect the balance because they're going to be done. So, from a practitioner standpoint, that's a really cool thing.
It's not only a cool thing for the practitioner as well for the patient, but I think it's an interesting financial model too, because
Very
it's
much so.
instant. It's not only instant gratification for the practitioner, but it's also instant gratification for the patient.
Very much so.
He gets the smile and you get the money right then with
So,
no delay.
Tudor, so Invisalign, and I compare the SmileBond business model and the Invisalign business model quite frequently, but I love to do Invisalign. And but typically what happens with orthodontics is we'll collect a portion of the fee up front and then it's split up over the life of the
Yeah,
case. Plus, there's overhead. You're going to be seeing that patient, so you have ongoing overhead.
right.
Um, so exactly, you spoke exactly to the point. If you gave me 10 Invisalign cases and 10 SmileBond cases, I'll say I want the SmileBond cases because I get my money right up front and the patient gets their new smile right up front. Now, interestingly, too, it's just kind of serendipitous, but the fee is about the same.
I
So,
understand.
like in the Lansing area, it's $5,000, 6,000, say typically for a Invisalign case, and that's what I'm quoting my SmileBond cases
I
out.
see.
So.
Um, it's also interesting. How did you come up with the idea for the composite material? Because the material is what makes a difference here, right?
Well, yeah, it's kind of fun because um, when I was growing up, I always was involved in art, let's say, and I was an art major all throughout my first year of college. And but when I was not in school, I was working. I was born and raised in Flint, Michigan, auto
Mhm.
town, and I was working in my dad's tool and die shop. And I loved being in there working with my hands, working on the machines, and we would build these plastic injection molds, so
Yeah,
we would fabricate these dies and then they would be sent off and they'd inject the molten plastic through there to get the desired form. And years go by, I become a dentist, and probably after about 10 years in practice, that's when the breakthroughs in dent and bonding and the flowable composites came on. And so when I got so many people refusing the full mouth porcelain work, and don't get me wrong, I love porcelain. I love to do porcelain work. But when I got so many no's, I thought, well, the lab has come up with a die or with a model for me. What if, excuse me, what if I could make a mold or a die from that and then use that to deliver these materials? And that idea came to me in the year 2000. And like I say, I treated a couple patients very gingerly, and I offered it for free as they knew exactly what was going on. And but that's where it came from. It was kind of a marriage of my work in the tool and die industry, and then seeing how that could work with the modern improved composite
Did
materials.
you change the composition like over the years since?
Well, I rely on the manufacturers for the composites,
I see.
and I will tell you that the quality has just gone off the charts within the past few years. It's tough as nails. Now, I'm partial to shofu. I will say that. I was using in the early years, I was using a product, I think it was a Kerr product, and patients loved it. It was just, oh, and by the way, patients want bright white. They love the bleachy bright shades. And I
Hmm.
had this shade and they stopped making it. All of a sudden they said, we're going to discontinue this. And I begged them. I called them on the phone. I said, no, don't do that. I need this. And so I was kind of searching around and I stumbled on shofu.
Yeah.
And so now the material, been using them for over 10 years now, and it's called Beautifil Flow Plus X, Beautifil Flow Plus X. But just the hydraulics are fantastic with our tools,
Hmm.
and they finish just beautifully, and they're tough as nails. They're really strong. So yeah, like I say, porcelain is great, and there are some patients who are going to demand that. It's kind of like what I'd call the Cadillac. But as an alternative, dental injection bonding and SmileBond is fantastic. The typical patient who it's the one who rejects the cost of the porcelain or the idea of having their teeth ground down. So that's why it's
Yeah, and
a
I imagine there are also probably some pathologies in dentistry that can be treated actually with this method. Like I'm thinking, years and years ago, I remember my mom was a dentist, right? So I have
oh,
a little
cool.
bit of introspection into the profession. And, years and years ago, there was an issue with the tetracycline treatment in kids that was staining the teeth so bad
Yes.
that nobody could do anything about it. And, I'm sure there are patients out there that could benefit from this kind of treatment, so to speak,
Yes.
as a cosmetic solution to what they have.
You're entirely correct. And I have treated a few patients for that and fluorosis as well. Yep.
Yeah.
So tetracycline and
What do you think about
fluorosis.
fluorine in the water, by the way?
Um, I I'm opposed to it. I'm fine with topical fluorides. Um, and I just tell patients be
Yeah,
sure to spit it out and so forth. But the idea of medicating the entire nation's water supply for
right.
for something limited is just crazy to me.
Right. Yeah. I believe that too. And I think, even the modern toothpastes that are out there are astoundingly toxic, I would say, for most of the population. And I don't
Yeah,
know how we managed to get to that point, but because all the research is out there. I mean,
it is.
even if we start labeling the boxes of toothpaste with warnings and stuff, and we
Yeah,
still
that's
sell
true.
them.
Because you can like infants and kids and so forth, they can hit a toxic dose
Yeah.
very. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've used a fluoride-free dentifrice myself for years and promoted it in my practice, and
Right.
I have to agree with you absolutely. But
Let me.
yeah, I'd love
Yeah.
to see it out of the water supply.
I know. Well, hopefully something will be done
Yeah, it
in
is kind of
in the
happening.
future, in the near future.
Yeah,
Um, Let me go back a little bit towards your personal approach to to your success? Because I'm sure nothing came easy and nothing came overnight. So give me an example of something that really didn't work out. One of your setbacks, one of your failures.
Well, I think like again, success is a it's multifaceted and it's dynamic. Um, and I've been extremely successful in my practice with SmileBond and with patients. It's the joy of my career, the interactions I've had treating patients with something that I came up with, let's say, and that makes them so happy. But the part that I'm not successful at is breaking into the dental industry.
Hmm.
That's the ongoing struggle for me. Um,
You
I've
mean
had some,
scaling up?
yeah, I've had some excellent shots on goal, let's say. You know, I've had some pretty high level conversations. But yeah, I really do envision this as a enterprise type level. Um, I really would like to see it. I would like to see it more mainstream, and um, kind of be able to license the technology. That would
Do
be
you
the
have it
next.
patented
That would
already?
be the next stage of success for me, which I haven't been able to achieve. Yes, so I have I think six U.S. patents, and so, you know, and it just the ideas keep coming as time goes on, and so I would file for the
Hmm.
future, kind of what I thought would be the next advancement. So,
Interesting.
yeah,
Well, I'm sure it's a matter of time for this kind of
I,
technology to
yeah.
become spread out in the industry. And um, what about your competitors, though?
Um,
How
well,
do you address that issue?
do you mean like other dentists
Yeah, other
or
dentists and other products like this, like
um
other other methods of doing this.
um I I get to work with some great people, and I gave a talk at the Chicago Midwinter for Shofu, and it wasn't last year, it was the year before. And I actually put mine side by side with another company. It's one that's out of Britain.
Hmm.
And I just I just show what SmileBond is all about. And when I compare it to anything else out there, like 3M has one, they have this cage-like thing that goes over the teeth with like windows that open and close. And um, I, like I said at the meeting, most of my patients would run if they saw something like that, you know. And
Yeah.
I don't think it works for all the smiling teeth. Like it would work great for the front four teeth or whatever, but it's so cumbersome that it would be a problem. There was another one, the one um, I can't, I think it might be Smile Fast or something. I'm not sure. And they even had a nice article, a publication in one of the dental journals, but it's so invasive. Like they even showed in the pictures there's a lot of tooth grinding with it, and the tissues were just, I mean, it almost looked like the patient had gum surgery during the process. And now, granted, it turns out beautiful, like at the end when everything's all healed up, great result and so forth. But like I explained, I want easy peasy, and so do my patients.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's how I deal with it. It's just it's the kindest, gentlest um, smile transformation process available, in my opinion.
Yeah. Um, anything that you can tell us about your daily habits or routines that you think contribute to this success that you have right now with this product?
Well,
Because you started this years and years ago,
yeah.
and um, what brought you this kind of success?
Well, um, being it, what this does, the cool thing about um, again, I think it was my passion for art and design. That's what got me into the whole cosmetic smile enhancement field. It really almost can you can kind of make it a specialty in your practice. And that's what was important to me is I really, after about 10 years, I got so tired of routine dentistry,
Hmm.
filling cavities and the drill fill bill thing. So when the composites came on and even the whole veneer craze and so forth, I was just all in. So Um, yeah, being able to communicate, the success comes from being able to communicate well with the patient and being able to market to their desires, because millions of people out there are just very unhappy with their smiles. And for some people it's a minor annoyance, but for some people it's debilitating. And
Yes.
and the saddest thing to me is here, somebody will say I don't show my teeth when I smile. So I think that's what drove my passion and my success was, um, like I told you, when I did my beta test and I saw how well it went, I just went all in marketing that to the public, and it just snowballed from there. So that's what I want. I want this for other dentists. I'm nearing the end of my career. I've been at this just 40 years just this spring, and
Oh,
I
wow.
want to mentor.
Yeah.
I want other dentists to be able to experience uh, the joy of being able to offer an alternative that patients really want. Most of the time, we're twisting arms in dentistry, trying to get patients to do what we want them to do.
Yeah.
The root canals and the scaling and root planing and so forth. And when they see that they can have a beautiful smile, it's so encouraging and so fun. So I think on the day-to-day basis, that's what has driven me. And so along that line, I'm working with some great people. I work with some coaches in the Michigan SBA, and then um, the president of Show Food North America, a great guy named Mike Gainsberg. Um, he's very interested in what we're doing, and so he's helped me get out in front of some people in the industry and so forth. But so we've got a website, and it's great for patients. It's very informative for patients. But we also have a provider portal, and there's a learning management system on there.
Hmm.
So if I just throw it out there, if any dentist wants to learn
Yeah.
more about it, um, they can hop
Yeah.
on.
Obviously, it's it's a system that should be known in your industry at least, by more people. But how do you want to grow this this year, for example? What's your plan? What do you want to do to get it out there?
Um, well, it's a two-prong approach. So I do get out. Um, I'm pretty good at winning pitch contests. So I'm working like with a group down at Walsh College in Troy, Michigan. Dan Sem is the director of their entrepreneurial program, and they're just doing some great things down there. So I've been able to, so I'm trying to pitch to outside investors. I'm trying to show how literally I think this could be an Invisalign type
Yeah.
investment. So that's one approach. The other approach is to bootstrap, and that is dentist by dentist. And what I want to do is I want to teach. So I want to teach the dentist, hey, here's why this is so important, and here's how to do it so you're comfortable and confident. And then I want to do the fulfillment. So send me your case just like you would, we've got a lab, and send us either the models or the scan or the 3D printed model, and we'll work up the case for you. We'll help you present it to the patient, and then we fabricate the kit. So it's just like it's the same business model as Invisalign. Send the records in, get a kit.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. I've been doing that kind of the past couple of years, is this two-prong approach.
Interesting. Yeah. It's very good to get out there as much as you can, because this technology can not only be licensed, but like you said, you need to educate people on what your vision is about this.
Yes, yes.
Now, so if you are at this point with what you know right now and your experience and what you've done so far, um, if you would look back to yourself, what kind of advice would you give to yourself? Would you change anything? Would you do something
Oh,
else?
oh my goodness. Wow. Um, that is a real tough one. I guess I would say I would try not to get too caught up, too passionate about it, and I probably wish I would have maybe um, emphasized more family time, that kind of thing. And it's not like it was ever a big problem, but um, I know it's easy for a professional or someone who's very passionate about something to get um, caught up and be running here and there and traveling all over the country and things like that. And I don't know. I don't know. It's all been part of the journey. So I can't necessarily say I would even go back and change it. Oh, one thing I would say is I guess I do something does come to mind, and that is mentorship.
Hmm.
That is huge because I have, I think maybe I've lost time or potential revenue and so forth by going it alone or winging it. And I think, wow, if I'd have just had somebody who knew more about this,
Hmm.
and if I could have picked their brain or gotten advice from them, it's kind of like, for example, we're real estate investors too. So a few blocks over from the practice, there's a neighborhood, and we have some residential rental properties in there, and
Very
there's
nice.
and it's going fine now, and I'm really pleased with it. But um, I made some mistakes that could have been avoided. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way, if
Yeah.
I'd have had the right mentorship.
No, I totally agree with you. I think mentorship is something that is well, it's very, I would say, underappreciated. Um,
Agreed.
because most of the time people think that it's expensive to have a mentor. And it might be the case for that moment, but you need to look at a bigger perspective of your life and of your achievements and of your success, because once you pass that hurdle of that day, paying someone to mentor you, you open up so many opportunities and possibilities of your life that you would never be able to do it by yourself, or it would take you 3 lives to do the same thing.
Yeah, well said. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
it's
just the avoidance of that one or two mistakes can more than pay for the cost of the mentorship.
yeah, you basically pay for your for someone else's mistakes and feedback.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, it would be awesome if you can start a mentorship program in this field that you're an expert with. How can people know more about this aspect? How can you offer this to them? Where can they go? How can they learn about it?
Well, the place to start would be our website. So that's smilebond.com. And for patients, there's a lot of information there. And um, so right now I get calls and virtual consultations and so forth as a practitioner. Um, but for dentists, there's a provider portal,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of good information on there. There's a white paper and a workflow paper and so forth to get a better feel about what's involved. But the key way to learn more would be the learning management system. And we do have a fee associated with that, but I do, especially on programs like these, I make offers, so discount coupon codes, I call them. And so when you're in the portal and you're looking to say, hey, maybe I want to, so what it is, the learning management system is it's an actual case. So it's literally this close to the patient and
Right.
seeing all the work close up, and plus me kind of talking conversationally like we are here. And so I think that's the best place to start. And what I tell people is, you'll when you get the gist of it, go. You don't have to. It's like an hour and a half, but like if you've seen one or two teeth, the process, then you can zoom ahead. You don't have to sit and watch every single one,
Yeah. Yeah.
because everybody learns differently. So that's one way. And then I have traveled, so I've made agreements with dentists and gone down into offices and trained the whole team, because everybody learns differently, and so that's fine. And I also do over the shoulder programs here.
Hmm.
So I would just say, um, you know, until this gets licensed, or until it goes into some kind of enterprise thing, here I am. You can work with the founder, okay? And
Yeah.
I'm willing to mentor at this time. So yeah, there's a toll-free number. I think it's 833-688-0020. There's a Calendly appointment book. You can book a call with me, or my email is drbillv@smilebond.com. So I would just say that would be the way to do it is let's connect and see if we can't get help people
Yeah,
get with
absolutely. I
treating some
would totally,
patients.
um, you know, inquire people if they want to look into your work, because it looks very interesting and a great project. So yeah, it's a successful enterprise from what I've
Thank you.
seen from you right now, but it's gonna grow. I'm very sure, and it's probably
Thank you.
gonna
Appreciate that.
evolve from here if you get the right people around you.
Correct.
I appreciate you coming, and hopefully we'll get another round of this podcast later on in the year to see where you are.
Well, that would be wonderful. And once again, thanks for having me on, Tudor.
Thank you.
Are you a busy medical professional striving to excel in life and work? Stellar Success Podcast brings you the habits and insights of top leaders in medicine and beyond. Discover strategies for balance, growth, and fulfillment in every episode. Follow us on Instagram at Stellar Success Podcast for daily inspiration. Start your journey to success today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel now.
That's a wrap on Stellar Success, Leveling Up for Medical Pros with Dr. Tudor Francu. Interested in joining us? Go to stellarsuccesspodcast.com/guest to apply. Stay stellar and level up.